Good morning, students. Our session of Financial Management 1. Now, as far as our previous session was concerned, in the last session, we have discussed about loan financing institutions. Under that, we have seen 3 different institutes who provide loans to us. The first one was commercial bank, then after development bank, and the third one is specialized financial institutions. So I think that point is clear to each and everyone. In today's session, we are going to discuss about internal financial sources. Till now, we had discussed about the financial sources which are available in the external market. When organization does not have sufficient profit or when they do not have proper capital, so at that time they are going to raise their finance in the external market. But it is not always true that when there is a scarcity of internal fund, at that time organization go for the external fund. Sometimes it is possible that when the organization has sufficient internal fund with them, but they are go for the external fund. The reason is that is the cost of capital. If the external fund is available at the minimum cost and when the maximum options are available to us, so at that time organization choose external fund rather than internal fund. So here internal fund are within the organization. Here we are not going to raise our fund, but it is from the profit of the organization. So there are basically 2 types of internal fund. We can say that. The first one is depreciation fund and the second one is plowing back of profit. Now, as far as the internal funds are concerned, the cost of capital is nil. We can say that there is no cost of capital when organization choose internal fund for their financial resources. So these are the funds which organization can make out of their own profit, out of their own business activity. So through internal financial sources, organization is able to make a proper use of their fund with the proper efficiency. Now, in this point, we are going to discuss depreciation fund and retained earning in detail. The first one, that is depreciation fund. Yes, as we all know that depreciation means the reduction due to the use of assets with the passage of time or happening of an accident. In accounts, we every year calculate depreciation on our fixed assets like depreciation on machineries, on furniture, on building, on any other equipments. So year by year there is a decrease in the value of asset, and that decrease is due to the use of that particular assets or with the time span, that from how many times we are using, so for how many period of time organization is using that particular asset. Actually, depreciation is an expenditure, but this expenditure is totally non-cash expenditure. Now in depreciation, in the calculation of the depreciation, organization is decreasing or reducing the value of the assets by calculating depreciation with two methods. The first one, that is straight line method, and the second one, that is WPP, that is work in progress, weightage so through the calculation of depreciation, organization is reducing the value of the asset by showing it as an expenditure. So depreciation is there in the debit side of P&L account, but actually organization is not paying this expenditure to anyone. It is only an accounting treatment. There is no cash outflow in the expenditures of depreciation. So whatever fund organization is creating for the depreciation, that is the internal source of the finance, because each and every year if organization is putting some amount or they are separating some funds in the name of depreciation, so that fund will be one of the most effective source of the internal sources of the fund. There is difference of opinion regarding the depreciation between the accounting experts and traders. Basically, the dispute is itself whether to consider the depreciation fund as the internal source or not. As per an opinion, depreciation fund is considered as financial source in which depreciation is the part of profit, because whatever fund is created by the organization, the main source is the net profit. So out of net profit, organization is creating the depreciation fund. So yes, in one opinion, it is definitely one of the main internal source of finance. Basically, the cost, the depreciation funds which is created by the organization. So the cost of depreciation fund is determined keeping in view the time period and as it is credited. So it takes the form of a fund, and the depreciation fund is utilized for purchasing permanent asset only. So the main purpose of creation of this kind of depreciation fund is for the purchase of fixed assets for the organization. So here another point is that organization is not in the position to use this depreciation fund for any other purpose except the purchase of fixed assets. So there is one of the main limitation of this depreciation fund is that organization is not in position to use this fund for any other purpose. Now in the second opinion, the depreciation is not the cash expense as we already discussed. So it is not the factor affecting the working capital. So when the cash outflow is not there, so it does not affect the conditions of working capital. So in the current assets, depreciation is considered as an expense. In the price of the closing cost, depreciation is considered as an expense. It is one of the main element of the cost. So due to this depreciation, there is a major effect on profit and tax of the organization. So we need to consider as one of the strongest financial source of the internal options of the funds. The fund is not created due to the depreciation, but there is a saving of fund. Here we are not making the depreciation fund out of the expense of depreciation, but the creation of depreciation fund is one of the best saving methods of the fund. If the unit itself does not have immovable assets, if there is no fixed assets in the organization, then rent is to be paid for using the assets. So rent is totally cash expenditures. So out of that rent, organization is not able to create any depreciation fund. While if there are immovable assets of the unit, then the outflow in the form of rent is prevented. So if the organization does not have any kind of fixed assets, so at that time they are not able to prevent the outflow of the cash, because it is a compulsory for the organization, that is to pay rent to the owner of the asset. The depreciation of assets can also be recognized as the savings of rent. Rent is totally cash expenditures. So if you are taking any asset on rent, so at that time organization is not in position to save anything, if the asset is on the rent. But if the organization has their own asset, so out of that own asset, organization is able to save some amount in the name of depreciation fund. So it is advisable to the organization, that is to purchase any immovable assets. Now, for the calculation of income tax, profit after depreciation is taken into the consideration. Yes, first and foremostly, we are going to deduct the depreciation from the gross profit, and whatever the remaining profit is with the organization. So out of the remaining profit, company is paying tax to the government. So depreciation reduce profit and it also reduce the rate of tax. If this depreciation is collected in the form of a fund, then it become one of the major financial source for the organization. But each and every time it does not provide a proper benefits to the company. But in the last, we can conclude that with the creation of depreciation fund, organization maintain or create one of the habit of savings, and out of that savings they are able to make a huge investment in the near future. So this is the explanation of the depreciation fund. I hope you all are clear about this point. As far as your syllabus is concerned, there is no detailed explanation of depreciation fund in your book, but this point is really very useful as far as your understanding is concerned, as far as the further explanation is concerned. So please take it depreciation fund in a proper manner and try to understand the importance of depreciation fund. Now the second point, that is plowing back of profit, that is we can say that retained earning. The simple meaning of retained earning is a reservation of our net profit, of our remaining profit. The non-distribute profit of the company can be considered as important place for acquiring financial fund. Suppose I am giving one example of plowing back of profit. The gross profit of the organization is 12 lakh and company pays tax, income tax, sales tax or GST of rupees 2 lakh. So now 10 lakh is the remaining profit for the organization, and this 10 lakh rupees is going to be used in two different ways. The first way, that is plowing back of profit, and second one, that is dividend distribution. So now it is up to the organization that how they are using their non-distributed profit in the organization for the future growth of the company. When company uses their own profit in the organization, that is the simplest meaning of retained earning. When we are using our own salary for our own purpose, so that is the retained earning, and that is again the major source of internal fund. Now, instead of distributing the complete profit as dividend in the good financial year, the company keeps as provisions for depreciation, development return, and keep it with itself, so that the company can fulfill its financial requirement in the future. And this process is called the plowing back of profit. Distribution of dividend is also important for the organization. If company makes 100% of plowing back of profit out of the non-distributed profit, then it is possible that the shareholders are not satisfied with the company, because but obvious they want a proper return from the organization, because they are giving their capital to the company. So it is a moral duty of the company, that is to pay a proper dividend to the shareholders. Here, organization is not giving 100% dividend to their shareholders, because if they are doing so, then company does not have a proper fund for their financial requirement. So a balance must be there between the percentage of retained earning and the percentage of dividend distribution. In the initial time, the company acquires finance from their external sources, but later on, the company retained its profit for its expansion and extension. So, it is advisable to the organization, that is to keep a major or a moderate proportion of their non-distributed profit as the retained earning. The companies holding substantial amount as a profit, they can easily use their fund at the time of recession or at the time of seasonal changes. These internal funds are useful for the development and innovative plans of the organization. With the plowing back of profit, finance can be made available for its development plans without creating any financial burden for it. It is this process, that is, plowing back of profit, is very easy and one of the cheapest source of finance. Company is not paying anything when they are creating the retained earning. When the company utilized its saving in their business to that extent, the shareholders immediately get the less dividend. But against it, as the savings are invested in the business, there is development of the company. And when the company grows, when the company develops, automatically they are getting the maximum profit. And out of that maximum to maximum profit, now shareholders are able to get maximum dividend. So ultimately, it is beneficial to both the organization and the shareholder as well. Now, there are few requirements of this retained earning. The first one, the requirement for newly established company. Hence, it is benefited to the newcomers in the initial stage, as they are not able to get fund from the external market, because in the external market they are not able to create a sufficient credit worthiness in the mind of the other persons. So when the company is new, so at that time it is highly recommended to them, that is to create their fund from their internal source. Then after, the second one, for maintaining constant the dividend policy. There are many factors which affects the earning of the company. Consequently, there is a fluctuation in the earning of company. If during the earning years the complete profit is not disturbed, then company is able to pay a proper dividend to their shareholders. So if the constant rate of dividend is adopted by the company, so in the worst scenario, when the company has insufficient profit, so that will become helpful in maintaining this dividend policy. So it is advisable to the organization, that is to create a constant dividend policy. Then after, the third one, when the shares are issued at less price. Yes, in the IPO, when the shares are issued at the minimum price, so by distributing a proper dividend, a company is able to create the concept of wealth maximization. And out of this wealth maximization, the company is in position to increase the shares prices in the external market. Then after the fourth one, acquisition of capital from outside. When it becomes difficult for the organization to acquire a huge capital from external source, so at that time company has to depend on plowing back of profit. If the company every year increases the saving, so they are able to create a huge fund, and in the worst situation company can make the use of that internal fund in a proper manner. Then after, additional capital by issuing the shares. If the company adopts the policy of disbursing less dividend for some years and get the major portion of profit after the tax collected and the reserves are created, so the prices of shares of the company will go up. Taking advantages of this opportunity, if the company want to fulfill their requirement of additional capital by issuing shares, and they are able to get a proper response from the capital market. Now the last requirement, that is rate of interest is high. When the rate of interest of the external fund is high, so that will become very costly for the organization, that is to create fund in the external market. So at that time the internal fund will give the best option for their financial requirements. So this is all about the requirements of retained earning. In the next session we are going to discuss about objectives of retained earning along with their importance and limitations. So till now I am ending our session. I hope you all are clear about this point. Thank you so much.